Hello, beautiful people. I am so excited to share my wonderfully creative and inspiring and all too short interview and conversation with Adrienne Pierluissi on this week's SomaShow. Adrienne is the owner of the Sugar Maple, which we all know and love. She is a painter, she is a co-creator, a mother, songwriter, musician, and singer, and we get to learn about her very unique process and how she stays in and out of balance in life. I know her smile and her words are going to light you up just like they did mine. And as a treat, at the finale, we get to listen to her sing and at the same time watch a slideshow I put together of her art. And the song she's going to sing is called Margot, and it's from her CD. And it's all about her mother. So please enjoy this creative conversation. Welcome to the SomaShow.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming and trusting in all of this. Adrienne is an artist. We met actually at your establishment because you host the Firm Fundraiser.
Yes.
So, I've always felt warm and fuzzy about you because it was always such a neat event and you're always so welcoming. And obviously we love that school and, all of it feels so good. And then learn that you are an artist. And then over this whole COVID experience, we've kind of reached out to each other. I forgot how it started.
I reached out to you.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yep,
the animals brought us together.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
I had in my head you had the answers. So.
Yeah. You had the answer, right? All we had to do was start talking. And then, just started taking walks and so I'm really curious to learn more about your art and your process and how you balance things, because I think that's one of the things we keep talking about as we walk, is because we are both strong women who in the last year or so have really been exploring also being a flowing feminine force. And so maybe let's start with your art. Start at the beginning. How did you get into art? What has been your journey with that?
I don't recall how I got into it. Well, I do. I always fancied myself really strong math, English, and when I was in college, I was just dabbling with some other things and made a sculpture and took it to the professor at the University of Illinois and didn't want to start out in basics. He had a live model class that I wanted to get into, and so I showed him the sculpture and was like, I want to be in your class.
So you started in college?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, drawing and writing. I thought I was a poet before that, but
I bet you are.
He accepted me into the class, and from there it was just everything. I started dabbling in all these other classes, and next thing you know, the majority of my courses are now all art courses over English, and so I switched majors and knew right away I didn't want to teach. I always wanted it to be, it's always been journalistic for me. I never start out with an idea of what I'm going to do, which is maybe what my problem is right now. A lot of imagery comes to me in dreams that I want to pursue, or I'll paint ideas in my dreams, or I'll meet people in my dreams who are giving me...
in your dreams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'll see imagery in my dreams that I then try to recreate, or, whole series have spawned from Dream and Tree.
Okay.
Whether I achieve the image of my dream or not, it's not important. It's just like a stepping stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's really smart. So you wanted to get into the class. So you took it upon yourself to actually create something to say, here,
Right.
I'm not going to start back in
Right.
drawing shapes.
Right.
Okay. That's really good. Here, I can already sculpt.
Yeah.
Very cool. So would you say your favorite would be painting, your favorite
Yes,
medium?
that was the quickest way to get out what I needed to get out, Like I said, it's always been journalistic for me, and I'm not one of those painters who sits and is like, oh, this is so beautiful, I'm really enjoying this. It's kind of like, it's very forceful. It's always been a real drive, Yeah. And then when I'm done, when I achieve what I think it is that I wanted to achieve, which I don't know, at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of, say I'll work on, 14 pieces, and by the time I get to 14, it's like, it's starting, and then I'll go back to the one and try to bring, and then they kind of come to a completion on their own, but every now and then I'll pull out one and say, you're done, and you're done, and you're done, and then,
Okay.
and then a lot of times
So are you working them all at once?
I try to,
Okay.
yeah.
Kind of
Except now
together.
these watercolors, anyhow.
So what are you working on right now?
I'm just layering and layering and layering because I have no, I'm not, out of about 18 things that I'm working on, I've completed 3.
Okay.
One because I wanted to gift it to somebody, and the other 2 because they just felt right.
Okay.
But the others are just layering a lot of watercolors, and because of their transparency, I'm now working with some acrylics over it.
Okay.
And I honestly think that whatever is going on, I need a little more time to live more, because I have a feeling now I'm going to come to a aha and get in there and complete them all, But right now it's this really weird, frustrating time. I used to be able to paint for hours and hours, and I'm in there in 20 minutes, no matter what state of mind I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay.
I just, and my mind is saying, work more, go through it, push through it, and then I try and I make garbage, and then I'm just like, just listen to whatever this is saying you're done. And so I'm going down through these little snippets.
Your ego is trying to push through.
To finish.
And accomplish.
Yes.
Okay.
And then my experience is like, the best part of all this is the process. You don't need to have this to say, look what I did, but it's been so long that I've created something. I'm not used to this. So
right.
I'm just learning to relax into the unknown and accept that in the end, maybe I won't ever paint again. And that's okay too. This is a bizarre feeling because I've been doing it since I was, 20.
Right.
So that's many years.
Do you think, I know, it's like 5 years. Do you think that, we were talking before about, like, maybe it's just the season for, outward expression and adventure and other things, and maybe that's why your spirit's like, okay, I can't do this right now.
Sure.
The other thing that you brought up that's really interesting is, so you might get the seed in your dream, and then what you're saying is like another layer might come along, and you'll be like, oh, that's it.
Right. I always accept what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
I found that when I try to create things linearly, so this happened a few times where I'm doing these series and something ridiculous occurs, and it's so not me, I think, at least. And I usually paint over it or destroy it or whatever, but now I'm learning to go with these jumps because what I found, this has happened about 2 times, that if I go with the jump, then I'm on this whole new trajectory. But if I can't understand it or file it or trust it, I end up working really hard, and in 2 years I'm at that point. So it was, I just kind of go with wherever things take me.
Right.
And if I let ego say, well, this doesn't make sense. A, plus B has to equal C. You have to go in order, And,
right.
But it's just funny. I have no order. I have nothing right now, and it's okay. I think I was working really hard on this house that I purchased, and everything is goal oriented, right? You're going to start this. Everything's a job that you finish. And I think that to go back into painting, especially after COVID and having these stressful situations, and expecting it to be that beautiful feeling of, reprieve and the joy it brings me. I love it so much, and it wasn't being that. And then I started getting mad. And I had to realize that, why if it's not joyful, then don't do it.
Right.
And that maybe it was the idea that I had to complete something that kind of sucked the joy out. I don't know, but I'm going. When I feel like painting, I go down and I play for a bit. But I'm just seeing it as playtime and not with this sort of pressure of what used to get me through before is I'd say, I'm going to have a show and it's going to be in 2 months, and so get your shit together and create.
Right.
That's not that. I
you don't feel like doing that right
Nope,
now.
because I'm in such a different headspace right now.
You're honoring the inner voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So would you say that, so you run a business and you run your household, and we've talked a bit about that, that's kind of more the masculine part, being steady, being a mountain. Tell us how you balance that, and does the art help you kind of freeform balance that?
Yeah, maybe. So this maybe part of the problem with this whole new body work too is that I'm starting out with them all being images of vaginas.
Okay.
And some of them, maybe because of the color or whatever, are staying that way.
Okay.
But most all of them I've changed, right? And I've always had these very sensual forms in everything that I do. I don't know if it's intentional or not. They're just there. And I think after doing all the work on the house, I feel maybe because the mask, maybe it's having a harder time to surface, and then now that I'm seeing these feminine forms, maybe I'm not valuing them as much as I used to, but I think that I've always been just really pure with my art, and sometimes it's very, like these shape ones to me were very analytical, and other times mainly I just have these very feminine or sensual forms in them, But as far as that, I don't know. I have no idea how I balance these things.
Yeah.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, my art's always feminine. It's. But the ones I did after the divorce are really aggressive. So funny. So they were black and white, and they were done with with very aggressive strokes and whatnot.
Yeah.
And all of them, not all of them men, but like when I hung them up at the Sugar Maple. I'd say 90% of men don't usually comment on my work, So the poppies were very floral and, I think very feminine and whatnot. But these dudes were just, I think I sold them all to men, which was weird for me, Yeah. And it was, I think, the aggressive stroke, and they were like in the mother well and, this sort of thing. But, and I think because of it, maybe the black and white of them as well. I'm not too sure. I try not to think too much about what people are thinking because I don't have that space in my head.
Right.
You're
concerned with what does it mean to you?
Right.
And if it means that to someone else, or sometimes it's interesting, but sometimes you can get lost in it.
Yeah, and I think I'm best when I'm just not thinking about it and just being really pure about it. But again, we can't help thinking.
Right. No, we can't. I wish we could. Turn that puppy off. Yeah, that's interesting. So the black and white, that really is, the ultimate balance. And maybe, just the strength of it. Your emotion was obviously poured into it.
Yeah, those were intense. Cool.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't something that I thought. It was, I was so distraught at the time, and it was just something to, I felt great afterwards. I felt like I really purged a lot of emotion.
Cleansing. That's neat. Yeah, I know after both divorces, I did a short series of people seeing them as kind of traumatic. Or, but very dark, very like wanting to break free. And I think it's, some people, obviously exercise and music and dance would be good, but through our art is, I think, where we can release it.
Yeah, and for some reason it wasn't working for me. And that's why I took up gardening, like last year, March. So I felt like the inside of the house was at a point where I could sit with it for a while. And then the announcement of shutting down the business, not shutting down the business, but not allowing people indoors.
Right.
I was just, I didn't know what to think or do, and so I just put my hands in the soil. Seriously, from March to November, I was gardening.
And that's how you...
That's how I got through it, yeah.
Being outside, grounding.
Yeah. Every day, at least 8 hours, that's what I did. And there wasn't a whole lot to do at work because the staff were taking care of everything, I didn't... no one needed to see me behind the bar, So I was I'm so grateful for my staff who really put on a good face and, showered before work and did their jobs and, muscled through it,
Yeah. So tell me about that. It's always interesting to, like, when you're used to a role and you get in a rhythm, and then you talk to me, and I think everyone would benefit from that. Like, how do you gain perspective and realize maybe in some areas hand over the reins?
Right. Well, I'm such a control freak, and and you might have great ideas, but, I'm not saying mine are better, but mine are going to be better for what I do, because I know, and I've had 30 years experience in the business and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, just handing it all over to the staff who have really great ideas was difficult, but so rewarding in the end. It's like one of my employees was like, well, we're going to set up a shop in the front. And, it was kind of like, okay, you had your time, you had your gardening time, good for you. But now it's, we need you here, and not there all the time, because when we were able to open at, 25%, that's real estate. So I would not be there at all.
Right.
But I just feel like allowing people space and validating their ideas. The place has grown so much in this past year, and it's because their ideas were so good, and they were given the opportunity to act on them, and I'm learning so much from them now.
Yeah. Well, if you have different characters, then they attract all those characters.
Yes.
And then so it would be such diversity.
Yes. Yeah.
So what was the best way to do that? Literally being like, okay, that's your idea, I'm not going to be there. And
right.
Just let them do it.
I think we had a lot of meetings, and a lot of the ideas were flowing. And I swear in the past I would have just been like, and so there was that part of me thinking that, but the reality was like, well, why not? Because what you're doing isn't so great right now, so it was just like, anything is considered, everything is considered, and let's put everything to the test, and if it fails, oh well, let's try everything else, and just being really open-minded, and
do you think COVID, with everything being upside down anyway, helped with that?
For sure. Definitely. Yeah. And also that time, there's a lot of ideas I wanted to put into place, but I just never made the time for it. And that allowed me to, put wine on tap and cocktails on tap. That was, with the help of the staff. And
okay.
Yeah.
So you got to pick out your list of things that you had wanted to do and implement those too. Yeah.
Just because we're, a craft beer bar doesn't mean we can't have other things because the other thing with all the events that I've done, all the fundraisers and whatnot, the clientele wasn't just, beer guys, it was really switching up, and I've always wanted variety in there,
Right.
so not everybody likes beer,
Wine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and, the alcoholic seltzers and rattlers and just trying to use the tap lines for whatever,
Right, diversity. Okay, cool. So we open up, Milwaukee opens up on the 1st. How are you feeling about that? What is...
this whole time we've really had a lot of support. The customer base has been wonderful, and I just want to make sure that they still feel safe coming out. And I've been told on numerous occasions that the reason they come to us is because we follow the protocol, and we have that really giant space to space people, And, so I'm excited, I'm thrilled. And I think most, especially, we have some bands booked, and that's super exciting for me. I think, when they say social distancing, I think that's the last thing we need to do. It's physical distancing, but socializing is so important during this time, So I just feel like people are just craving contact, and music and conversations. So I think that I'm really excited for it. I think people this past year has really showed people that your life can be taken away at any time. It has for a lot of people are missing a lot of loved ones, and I just feel like that we're going to come back with more meaning, and less taking people for granted, and more of the ability to say I love you. I was at the bar the other day, and I haven't seen people in like a year and a half that were out, and everybody, these are friends that I don't see very much, so that, you know, I love you, I love you, I love you. It just felt so good to say it, you know, and there was no awkward, and there was no feeling of like, you know, do you love me, or, you know, who cares, you know what, I love you. I just,
yeah, I was around a lot of friends this weekend too, and there was about 6 hours on one of the days we were outside of the gathering, and I totally forgot about Corona.
Oh, isn't that nice?
I didn't even think about it. Didn't even enter my mind. And you probably felt it that night at the bar, but almost high because of all the hugging and oxytocin.
Yes.
It's just like, what is this feeling?
Yes.
This is just amazing.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's like a homecoming when people get to come out to their favorite places.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the outdoor space too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been going since, you know, since that first warm day about a month ago.
right. And all the cold ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. Yeah, it's great that you have the spaces, the big open main part, and then the venue for the bands, and then the outdoor space.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's been great.
Yeah.
So the last year we got through, I had 2 steady bands that were playing like the first Sunday of the month and the third Sunday of the month.
Okay.
And that was really great because the people, I think, you rely on music. You are just so grateful to have a place to come out and, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we didn't shut down.
Right.
You know, we just learned different ways of staying open.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there was, you know, we had to follow all these guidelines, which was all fine. You know, we felt like it was a privilege to stay open because we had the space. And it was just, you know, how do we still keep events going without, while keeping people safe, you know.
So do you think, did it feel almost more creative? Because you had certain
it was a challenge, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's what I'm doing with these watercolors, which to me are very difficult in the first place. And my tools are pretty shoddy, and I'm in the basement, and the light is terrible, and whatever. And it's always worked to my benefit to have challenges to, you know.
Right.
And right now, it's like I'm not going to blame my material. I'm not going to blame anything. It's just where I'm at, and I'm okay with that. You know, today I'm okay with that.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to ask about, you know, one of the creative things, and this that's why I love talking to people, is like, what is your creative process? How do you like get in the mood? You know, and some people need things to be just so, and some people it's just like, no, I'm going to create.
Yeah, it's a mood for me. It's a hit. It's a now.
Okay.
You know.
And then you just go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because light doesn't matter.
No.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Your shadow will be more interesting.
Something.
Something.
I've never been that person, and I think maybe because it's like I've never wanted to commit to painting. Mm-hmm. You know, there's always something more. I just see it as such a luxury.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I know people. They wake up every day. They have their coffee. They do their meditations, and then they go to the studio. Okay. You know, and I used to try. I tried that, and nothing really good came of it for me.
Okay.
And, you know, when I had the warehouse space, that was brilliant because I needed a place to store everything, and I was welding at the time, and you know, and to me welding isn't painting, that's for sure, you know. But as far as creating things while I was there with a given time, it was not good for me. Okay. You know, I felt like I was wasting so much time. I could be gardening. You know, there's so much more I could be doing, and I think it's in my head that it's such a luxury that I don't. And I'm also the baby of 10, and I feel very strong about, you know, you don't get to relax until you work hard. I'm not like one of these people who can
the
just...
The worthiness thing,
yeah.
You have to earn your...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, and I get antsy on the beach, you know, I'm like, but when I'm passed out...
We gotta travel together.
Right?
We're travel buddies.
Yeah.
Why are you lying there?
Yeah. Well, you know, I work hard and I can plop in the sun and, you know, that's one thing. But like to wake up and just kind of lollygag on the beach, I don't know. I'd probably build something, or I don't know. And I'm hoping that in age that'll go. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm hoping in time that I'll be able to just enjoy all that peace.
Right. Well, I think, like you said, a lot of it's how we're raised. You know, when that's rewarded, or it's kind of one of those things, well, who else is going to do it, right? I mean, you run a business, you have to keep your house up, if there's renovations, you're doing it. You're going to feel more satisfied when you have a lot of that under your belt in the day.
Right.
And then, then those luxury times seem more earned.
Right.
So it's logical, but you're right. It is something to strive for, just to be able to enjoy that from the get-go.
Yes. I'm learning.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, I never let light or anything get in the way because I feel so lucky to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm not going to make excuses.
Right.
That would be absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So do you feel, you had a recent trip to Alaska, do you feel that any of that's going to come through eventually, or was that pure experience for you?
I think that was pure experience, just being out in nature like that. And there's something, I was with a friend who I feel very open with, and there's something about being able to see this vastness of lands and mountains and just beauty. I mean, you get to the top of these peaks, and some of them, when I got down, I was just like, I'm so glad I didn't think about it. And there are times you stop and just breathing it all in, but there are times when you're feeling a little anxious, you talk your way up, and then, it was my courage, But during those times, you're just not going to make small talk, right? Like you're really delving in. And so I just did a lot. It was very therapeutic for me, those long walks out in nature where you're just kind of like purging these things and finding all the symbolism and animals just popping up right there, like
everything's so present, so
it
real.
Really is, and there are times, you're being, you see bear and, you hear the stories and whatnot. They don't care about, they don't want your, they want your food, they want your garbage, and they don't really want to eat you, I think. That's what I told myself. Yeah. So there were, moments of fear, but not like, almost like, well, this is okay, we could go, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trampled by a moose, I'm okay with that,
So they good story if you're gonna go big.
Yeah, I am.
I love that.
But I feel like it did help clear a lot of cobwebs out. And like you said, there was no COVID there. I mean, out in nature, you're not thinking of it at all. So it was just a really great place to just be and kind of clear my head,
Yeah, because that would probably be for the first time in a year and a half where you didn't have to think of work.
Right.
You didn't have to think of making anything or achieving anything.
Yep.
You just got to be.
Yep. Just wake up
with a dear friend and just,
Yeah, and she was on the same page. She was like, wake up, go, find a trail, and now we're lost.
Right.
Wow, isn't that nice? And then the last day, we learned how to use this app that kind of traces your path, or like drop a pin. Like we didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
But we figured it all out on the last day, and I'm so glad, because you rely on these things. I don't want to be walking like this in the woods.
Right.
So it's just you develop that sixth sense of your internal compass, which I've really never had the opportunity to develop, because when I've been in wilderness before, it's been with somebody who's really good about I'm just follower, and there's a completely different thing about being the one who's leading the walk.
So this one you could drop a pin every now and then, therefore you could find your way out.
Right, okay. But we didn't.
Okay.
Until like the last day.
Yeah, that was. I always remember to try and turn around and notice things.
Yeah.
Because on the way back, it's obviously very different.
Right.
Like, oh my God, I don't recognize any of this. And you get lost up there, you're lost.
Yeah. But they really have a beautiful trail system. And, there were days we would hike and not see anybody. And then other days when you're feeling completely lost and you see a small child, you're like, get out! Okay.
That's awesome. Someone's poodle comes along and then you're like, okay, here we are. That's incredible. So there's a lot of balance right now. When you come back, you probably have like fresh energy. And
yes, for sure. Yeah, just seeing things differently, and I'm all about order And so I feel like the space where I work has always been ordered, but to come back and be like, oh, I need to get rid of all this and put this up and just kind of freshen the place up a bit. You know, I think it's super clean and, you know, it's open, but I still feel like, I don't know, I don't like to leave things just as they are all the time. You know, I kind of want to mess it up so I can clean it up, you know?
I know. There's something about rearranging. Well, they call it spring cleaning, right? Where we're just like, okay, everything must go. Let's move this around. Something fresh, something open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I've been going through a lot of that lately. So this summer, you have bands are booking, events are coming in.
Yes.
And you orchestrate a lot. Talk to me about, you told me before about how you like bringing people together, and because essentially your place is a platform for artists and music and people to socialize. So tell me about that.
Okay. Well, it used to be very personal for me. So I feel like one of the first events where I really gave it my all was raising money for the Domes when they were at a point when they were considering shutting them down. And I raised my sons there, and I was very attached to it. And I've learned now, though, I'll call out to people that I'm interested in or that I want to raise money for and just say, hey, let's do a benefit. You know, this poppy thing that I did, there were 52 paintings, and so I was able to, you know, put up a lot for auction, you know, or raffle. And now I really don't have many left, so. But people are coming to me now with ideas, and I'm just trying to, you know, be supportive and figure out, you know, ways for them to raise funds. I just sat down with a friend recently who's going to be organizing, I think, like 3 different bands to raise money for the whole house. And that's just something that I feel now the word is out. Now the Sugar Maple's friendly to this, and so now I get to sit back and allow the people to come and come to me, you know. Initially, it was just, I just had fire, you know. I don't know if I have the same fire. I feel like I'm maybe just like smoldering embers right now. Super hot, you know, but like not like dramatic. It's weird. It's like I'm like learning myself. It's weird.
Yeah, I know. I think that there are times of high energy, and maybe that's where you focused everything.
Right.
And building that, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a business. You build your clientele, you build your reputation, and now I like that. I like, you know, like those hot embers, and there's plenty to fuel it, and now everything can just come.
Right. Now that I say that, though, that's when you cook. You don't cook when the flame is hot. You know, you gotta wait for that to happen. So,
Now you're cooking. And it's the right season. I'm really excited for all of it. Yeah, it's perfect timing, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel good. Yeah.
It's very cool. Well, I want to thank you for talking with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for originally reaching out.
Yeah, thank you for being there.
Yeah.
That was new for me to ask for, you know, help. And that was really, I think that was the beginning of just this whole new change, you know. It was really healthy. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was a big deal. I think sometimes we don't feel like we have good intuition, but when you like reminisce on things like that, it's clear we do.
Right.
You know, it's like, okay, I'm going to listen to that. I'm going to know when to ask. I'm going to know when to say yes. I'm going to know when to maybe shelve something. Yeah, I think we're getting there.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. And, you get to pick crystal.
Oh.
So you can look at like everyone to
Oh, lovely.
Yes. So that's something fun that you can
do it with my eyes closed.
Yeah, do it with your eyes closed. You just.
Oh, I feel it already. I made you. You are to me, I am to you. I am you, I am you. You live through me, I live through you. You float away, grasp for words you'll never say. Reach out to the air, you're not there, you're not there. In my dreams, you're shoeless. Rise up through the floor. You're beautiful, so beautiful. Leave me wanting more. I made you. You are to me, I am to you. I am you, I am you. You live through me, I live